Good day there once again, viewers. This is your mate Kamikaze78 here, and today guys, we're going to be returning to an old friend, if you will, the good old Charger. You guys know very much my opinion on the weapon, or at least you knew my opinion on the weapon. The weapon's niche, its charged rounds at the start of every magazine, was uninspired, as even if you hit all of your charged rounds on a target, it made absolutely zero difference to the time to kill of the weapon, which in turn left its damage output to be desired. On top of that, with the decreased magazine size intending to be a trade-off for the quote-unquote increased damage, the weapon just didn't have the kick it needed to be competitive in a one-on-one. As of the last update, however, the weapon received an interesting addition, or an interesting fix, if you will, that we actually discussed as a potential solution to the weapon's existing problems in the review. So, what has happened to the Charger in the last update? Is it now worth your time? Well, the weapon has received an additional 2 charged rounds per magazine, taking it out to a total of 7 rounds per magazine that are going to be firing that 167 maximum damage per round profile. Well, whoop-de-doo, Cammy, that's only 2 extra rounds, that's nothing massive, right? Well, no, not exactly. As we discussed in my weapon review of the Charger, the 5-round damage boost meant that during the starting burst of the magazine, the weapon could dish out a total of 835 points of damage before returning down to the 143 damage profile, requiring 2 more shots to kill a target after all of those boosted shots had been expended, which, when you do the math, meant that the weapon had no different a time to kill than what it would have had if the charged shots weren't placed on the weapon in the first place. It was a useless niche that had no tangible advantage at all when compared to the long reload time and reduced magazine size. But with the extra 2 rounds per mag that dish out that bonus damage, the set of rounds that fire that 167 damage model, a damage model that normally takes 6 rounds to down a target, can now actually down a target before the weapon moves back down to its lesser damage model. So, as a result, there is a legitimate, tangible benefit to this niche being on the weapon now, which will reward you for accuracy and timely reloads. For the more technical sides of you guys, we identified in my review that the weapon's time to kill would sit anywhere between 0.47 seconds and 0.56 seconds in the best case scenario, but it was actually impossible to reach the better end of that range because, well, you simply didn't have enough bullets that had boosted damage to get down to that 0.47 second time to kill. Now, you can actually reach that time, which is on par with the glorious Cyclone that we NC all know and love, or TR and VS hate. And if any of you guys out there have been watching my streams lately, I've been actually picking this weapon up and using it quite willingly. I've been actually enjoying the one NC weapon that I thought that I would never ever touch again. But in saying that, I'm actually really glad to see the developers taking the time to revisit the weapon and give it the touch-up it needs to put it back into the useful category, if you will. But is it a must-buy now? Well, not quite yet. Don't get me wrong, the weapon is now fun to use, and if you're a long-term NC player looking for another weapon to burn some time into for another Araxium medal, then this is now a weapon that you can actually work with without wanting to pull all of your hair out. But with that said, there is still a glaring issue here with this weapon, the shortened magazine size when combined with the lengthy reload time. Now, don't get me wrong, the concept of a weapon that demands smart reloading and encourages swift guerrilla warfare-like movement is actually something I want to see in this game, and I'm glad that this Charger fits that sort of bill. It takes the damage model of the Cyclone, applies it to a carbine, but still gives that carbine a decent amount of, room to work with at a larger range, but gives it that extra firepower to really be competitive in those close quarters environments if you dare to get that close. And it's very clear that this weapon here was designed with that very thing in mind. It had a brief to be a guerrilla warfare-like weapon. But, and this is a very big but, when you give a weapon 5 less rounds than most other weapons in a category available to a faction, and also give it a reload time that not only beats out all other carbines for endurance, if you will, but also assault rifles on the NC side of things, you've got a slight problem. And I'm not kidding there, this carbine actually has a longer reload time than all NC carbines and NC assault rifles. Assault rifles, for crying out loud. I mean, for a weapon that demands you to reload so much, it makes it difficult to get into that close quarters scrap-ups too often, because while that is where the damage is going to be at its best for this gun, you will get in there, kill your first guy, and then suddenly play as a tortoise trying to reload the weapon. If the reload time were to be brought down just a bit, and I mean just a little bit, I think we'd actually have a very strong competitor here in the grand scheme of things when it comes to NC carbines. I'm not expecting the reload time here to be, you know, faster than weapons like the ACX-11, which has a blitzing fast reload time, by the way. I just feel as though a little bit of a tune-up in that aspect will put the weapon in the sweet spot it deserves to be in, where it invites skilled positioning and timely reloads, but at the same time gives players a bit more wiggle room to, you know, at least not get sent to a death sentence every time they try to reload the weapon after a scrap. I like the idea of the weapon very much, and right now it's kind of growing on me. I think it is slowly making its way to be a great gun in the game. Hell, I'm actually praising the weapon in this video. In the review, I don't think I had a single nice thing to say about the piece of shit at the time, but now I'm actually willing to pick up the gun and have a grand old time with it. There are a couple of steps needed just to bring it up to par, but for now, if you're looking for a fun little weapon to add to your arsenal and you have some spare certs lying around, then I'd recommend giving it a look for a laugh. At the end of the day, guys, I just wanted to make this quick video to discuss the Charger in its updated state, because I, quite frankly, brutalized this thing in my review. There was, again, not a positive thing I could say about this thing, and I wanted to take a few moments here just to sort of correct that now that it has been updated, and I feel as though the weapon is now at least semi-competitive in most situations when used correctly. Either way, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, a very short video today, but you know, that's how it is, please feel free to backhand that like button, guys. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, feel free to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit the little notification bell icon to stay up to date with whenever we upload a video here. I've got some exciting content on the way, guys. That'll be hitting next week. On top of that, you can also follow me on Twitch to keep up to date with all things happening there, as well as all my social media links like Discord and Twitter, which are linked down below in a pinned comment and in the description. Once again, guys, thank you very much for hanging out today, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Peace out, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Take care, guys. Have a good one.